No tanks. What's going on?
Uh, just figured I'd join in. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I'll post it so you can see what I'm talking about. Have you ever heard of Gorlock the Destroyer?
No.
Well, here, I'll tell you. I'll post it in side chat so you can see it. Okay. I just posted it. You should see it in side chat. Do you see it?
I do see it. Yep.
Okay. So, do you know this person?
No.
You do not know this person. They were very famous on the internet. Well, they're still very famous. But basically, they show up on a very popular podcast, right? In front of a bunch of very beautiful women. And there is this person, right? They are a trans female, right? And people just, they immediately go into making fun of her, right? Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
Yeah. So what my argument is that I think that everything that I see that this person does, they basically lean into it really hard. Like they know they look this way, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, was this person going on there expecting or hoping for people to lie to them and not give their honest opinion? Like, what were they expecting?
Well, I don't know. I mean, well, a lot of people, right? What they did is that they gave her the nickname Gorlock the Destroyer.
Yeah.
You know, because of how overweight they are. And I guess what I'm saying is that this person, uh, every single person that dislikes this person, for being delusional XYZ, leaned into her trap. The trap is that you basically just gave her the clout that she wanted. And it's like if you actually look at her and what she does and what she stands for, she's very positive. She gets made fun of day in, day out by everybody on the internet, and it's just like super positive. And you know what? She calls herself this, that she is a certified badass bitch. And you know what? I think I'm in agreement with her. I think I agree. What do you think?
I think that they're probably really lonely. Uh, they're going to stay lonely, and they wanted attention. I mean, who else goes on stage like that unless they want the attention?
Hey
So
man, I mean, well,
simple as
I'm
that.
just saying that I think that I think I think they're
Like
a
how
really
much
cool
punishment
person.
can one
I do.
person take? Maybe, yeah, maybe. But and like showing off how much punishment they can take and how little they'll care about you putting them down. Well, they obviously didn't care. They didn't not care enough because they changed their entire appearance to appease the outside world and say, "Do you approve?" And said, "Do you approve of me now?" So they do care. They cared to begin with, or they never would have changed their appearance to look
What do
that
you
way, and
mean?
then go
Like
into a
how
show.
so?
Well, they would have just stayed however they originally looked. This
Are you
Gorlock girl
referring
or
to
boy,
like them being trans, or are you referring to
yeah,
like just their appearance?
both, yeah. So if they're going up on stage saying, "Listen, I don't care about all the negative things you're going to say about me. I know you're going to say terrible things because I mean, well, look at me, but that's okay. I accept me for me." That's just not the case because if they accepted how themselves for themselves, then they never would have changed their entire appearance.
I disagree.
Oh,
I disagree. I think they just felt a specific way about themselves and probably decided to go in that direction. But they knew they looked a particular way, and I bet you it was probably an area of contention for them. And they probably just leaned really heavy into it. I mean, why not?
well, because you know yeah, because if nobody's there to judge you or to like make assertions on who you are based on how you dress or I don't know whatever body parts you're putting on yourself, then you wouldn't do it. Like you wouldn't
Okay.
do it if it's just you in the room. Nobody's ever done it alone on an island. You know,
Would you say that you're are you pro or
I am. I feel bad. that they don't accept their original selves. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so like, I mean, you feeling bad is independent as to whether or not whether or not you think it's a valid thing. Do you think it's valid?
Mm, I don't know what that even means exactly. I don't know what that means exactly. Is it valid to be trans?
Yeah.
I mean, that would be the definition of it. So
Well, I mean, do you think it's just a delusion, or do you think it's an actual thing?
I don't know if I'd say it's a delusion. I mean, they know they're not girls, or they wouldn't, they wouldn't be trying to, dress up like a girl.
Well, I mean, there's a basis of
Or what?
how somebody feels in their brain. Don't you think that that's possible?
Um, no. I mean,
No,
so
not
if
at all.
what I mean, this is the thing, right? So either, right, like, is the brain telling them who they are, or is it something else? Is it like there's something else?
Well, I mean, let me ask you this, right? Do you work out?
Yeah,
Okay. Do you think that testosterone plays a role in your decision making?
probably.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, how much of it?
And so
But
you think
yeah,
that do you think that the lack of testosterone would influence your decision making?
yeah.
Okay. So what if, for example, that you possessed a genetic marker that specifically made it where what is typical in the male brain, you're receiving different hormones than what is typical?
Yeah, I mean, it would affect you differently. Yeah, you'd be affected by a chemical. Yeah.
So would it be fair to say that it would be just like as if that
Well, yeah,
what is
this
occurring
is
in your
what this is.
brain doesn't equal out to your external phenotype? And when I say an external phenotype, it would be like dick and balls, vagina,
Well, then
uh,
that would be a brain. Then that would be
fat
like some kind of
placement.
brain damage. So, like, that would be some
Is
kind
it
of brain.
brain
Like, so
damage?
well, be some kind of, yeah,
Do
something
you think
faulty
that
going on. So
everybody
if the
holds the
brain,
same hormonal makeup in their brain between each of individual?
I don't believe so. No.
So is everyone brain damaged?
This is the no. This is like, so. This is the overarching point. So if the brain, right, is telling you, right, if it's your brain telling you what you are, right, well, then your brain controls your hands, it controls your feet, you controls your mouth, uh, it, and then if we're going to say that that's what's controlling your feelings, right, then your whole brain says you're a boy, right. Now, if we're going to say that it's something else,
Well, I'm
like their
saying that your
soul, I mean, that
hormones,
it is.
the hormones can differ
Right.
from your general phenotype.
I don't
There's like what's
I don't know what
considered
a phenotype
typical,
is.
and then there would be an atypical aspect.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what those are exactly, right? But if we're just saying,
Do you
listen,
know
your
what I mean
brain is
by
what controls your.
phenotype?
No.
It's an external characteristic, something like having dick and balls, a vagina, breasts, fat placement in your body. These are phenotypes,
Okay,
right?
you're
So
saying
like
there's
there's a
that these are
phenotypic
chemicals.
characteristics. No, I'm saying that there are physical features that we can observe as being particularly male or particularly female. Are you following?
Right.
Okay, so if there are typical hormone characteristics that map on pretty closely to those phenotypes. You follow so
Okay.
far? Does it make sense?
Yeah. If you have a lot of testosterone, then you're a guy.
Well,
Yeah.
if you have phenotypes typical of males, then yes, you are likely to have more
Right.
testosterone. But my point is that that's not always the case.
Yeah. So I mean, like my overarching point, like really was just that, if we're trusting that the brain is in working order and it's healthy, right, and it's telling you here's your hands, move your hands, move your feet, right, and it then sends whatever
You're breaking up.
to your body part.
You're breaking up. Can you repeat that?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
So it's just my overarching point was just that if we're saying that the brain is healthy, so it's telling you, okay, here's your hands, here's your fingers, here's your eyes, here's your body parts, and that the brain connects to all these body parts. I can move these private body parts with using my brain, right? If that's all healthy, and then that's what I am, and everything's working, right?
Let me ask you this: do you
I'm a
think
boy,
that
right?
the amount of testosterone somebody gets in their brain differs depending on from person to person?
Yeah, but that's still not even
Does
my
it differ
finished
among
point.
males? Like, are some males have more
Yes,
testosterone and some males have less testosterone?
yeah. So they even
Okay,
like
so there's no like but would you say that those that have more or less testosterone to be abnormal
no,
or not
that's
or
never what I was saying.
non-functioning brain rather?
No, because that's never what I was saying. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm saying that the hormones in your brain don't always map on to your external phenotype, and so therefore trans people exist and are valid.
Right. Well, so what you're saying, it's like a chemical imbalance that doesn't match to
But
their
the
body.
question is what you consider to be a chemical imbalance,
Yeah. One. Yeah. One.
right? Like, do
The
you think
chemicals
a
that
male who has low testosterone is a chemical imbalance, even though that's happening naturally?
if they start to think they're a girl or something, then probably that might be
Well,
have something to do with it.
sometimes it's just they just have a little bit more feminine sounding voice, or sometimes that they just have girlier interests as a result.
And that's all fine,
Sometimes they just
But
don't
then
want
when
to rough and tumble. They don't want to do that, right? I'm
yeah, that's
saying
all
that
fine. That's still
that
they're still a man.
but
That's
they
fine.
could be entirely completely straight. I'm just
Right.
pointing out that there's differences in the hormonal makeup, right? So you're saying that it's abnormal, but my question is what's your line?
I never said all that. I really never got. It's been so far removed. Whatever I was going to say a while ago, that I can't really track it exactly. I can try.
Go ahead.
Okay, so either the brain is healthy. I don't want to go back over the whole thing because I can't get past it. So either the brain is healthy and is communicating correctly and mapping correctly, and you are what you are, right? And you're just a brain, or there's another part of you that's not your brain saying that I am not a boy. I am not just a physical body. I am a soul. So either we're going to attribute it to a soul um, that is not matching up correctly in some way, shape, or form, or it's just physical, or we're all just physical. We're all just matter and material, and this matter and material is broken because it's not corresponding to reality. Which, if your brain is corresponding to reality correctly, then you're a boy.
If the hormones don't match with the brain and then it causes you to feel that way, is that not corresponding to reality?
If it's mapping and making you feel contradict that a contradiction is true, then yes, it's something's wrong.
Okay, I'm saying that like there's lots of different levels. Some people don't even like they don't even go through with this, right? And that there's a
Yeah,
lot and most people, right, they just have some slight differences in the hormones, but hormones are weird. They do weird things. Genes are weird. They do weird things sometimes. And sometimes those genes specifically create hormones in such a way that is not typical of your sex. And you're making the argument that, well, these are abnormal. We shouldn't be acknowledging this.
well, it's not about them being abnormal. So there's this thing called like I think it's called like HRT, right? Or something like that. So if you want to become more feminine, be a girl, you get these hormone injections,
Hmm.
and it makes you think you're a girl. I mean, it's a
Well,
direct correlation,
HRT allows you to exhibit more phenotypes that are typical of that of females for
right?
assuming you're going male to female.
Right,
So what's your point?
but not that I not well, not that I'm saying that we should do this the opposite, but why don't we just do the opposite?
Um, the
If
opposite of
you're
what do
if
you
you're
mean? Like
meaning you're
don't
physical,
don't give gender affirming care.
well, no, absolutely give gender affirming care, as in your brain maps to you being a boy. Let's give you more of the stuff that makes you a boy. Why aren't we doing the opposite? Fixing the
Uh,
brain.
because that causes gender dysphoria and can cause suicidality increases.
I don't know if we can.
Well, no, we know that it can. It's not that we don't know if it can. We've done studies on this. We know it can.
Yeah, Yeah, but so does hepatitis C treatment. Also causes suicidal thoughts, et
Hepatitis C
cetera, et
is
cetera.
not going to be the same thing as being trans or having gender
No, I,
dysphoria. Also, not everybody
I,
who's trans even has gender dysphoria. It doesn't matter. The point is that I mean, like you're now basically what you're doing is like, why don't we do the exact opposite of what the medical consensus is? And so I'm asking, where are you getting that information? That's a very bizarre claim you're making.
well, I mean, it's just that you're a boy.
Yeah, I
I mean, I
get
don't
it,
think it's more
right? I get
complicated
that
than
their
that.
sex is, but what we've already gone through, that their gender is not the same as their sex. The gender in their brain is different from what can be observed in a phenotype.
Okay, so is their brain, is there something wrong with their brain?
No, it's just a genetic difference. They can be
Okay.
entirely functional members of society.
What is it then, right? What would you attribute it to that is separating their mind and their body as two
What?
separate things? Their
What?
body is one thing, their body and their brain is one thing,
Why are
but
you
their
arguing a
mind
weird dualism
is
argument?
something
I
else.
mean, we can discuss dualism if you, and I can disprove it to you right in front of you if you really want that. But we would have to drop the trans topic. Do you want to do that?
We're talking about a girl or a boy who think they're the opposite.
Yep.
Dual. That's the only dual thing I'm
Yep.
talking
Because of
about.
the hormone differences in their brain, or maybe they just feel
Yeah, I
like
mean,
it.
as far as like the mind being separate from the brain,
Yeah, not
that's the
making that
claim of.
argument at all.
Well, that's the claim of
No, it's
of a
not.
trans person
It's not
that
even
they're
remotely close to the claim.
that in their heart of
You
hearts they
understand
are
that I'm
not what
talking
their
about a
body is
person's
telling them they are.
neurochemical makeup, right? I'm talking about endocrinology, right? It's a very firm science. We know the hormones that exist in the human brain and what can affect feminizing positions as well as masculinizing positions. We know what are the hormones that cause those things to occur. Sometimes people
Okay,
receive hormones at different levels, regardless of their phenotype. The genitals alone do not determine what hormones you receive in your brain. This is not a mind body dualism problem. This is just a difference in hormones between one individual to another.
right. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so like, like so maybe you've heard of people before. They say these young athletic girls, right? They have like Adam's apples, right? Like people have made these conspiracies about it, but that's just something that comes about when you exercise at that young age, right? When you're like having that growth spurt into puberty and you're working out and whatnot, then it triggers hormones, like according to your behavior. So there's things that in the natural world that trigger these chemicals, and you can absorb them and whatnot. So to say that this is completely like some sort of natural thing that's going on with them, I mean that's speculation. And
Well,
then when we
my
go to
dude, no
treat it
tanks. Just so
as
you
a
know, you actually already agree with the position because I asked you earlier whether or not that there are differences in hormone makeup between one person to another. You said yes, and I said it's also possible for a person to be male, as in possessing the phenotype of males, and yet still have more or less testosterone than what is typical. You've acknowledged all of that.
yeah, but I don't agree that we are just physical chemical reactions.
Gotcha. So, do you want to drop this topic and you want to move on to the mind body dualism problem?
No, this is your topic. It's no problem.
Well, I'm asking
Like
you because you clearly seem to want to talk about mind body dualism. We can go ahead and do that. But the problem is that you have acknowledged every single position in what basically causes someone to be trans from a medical perspective. You've already acknowledged all of that. And under that basis, you would have to concede that trans people are real and are valid.
they're real. What do you mean? They're real
Yeah.
people.
Are they
What do you
valid?
mean?
As in, it's
Valid
not a
in what?
delusion.
I mean, if they know that they're not girls, there's no delusion going on.
Yes, by
They just
sex, they
want
are
to
not
be.
females. I understand that.
Yeah, they want to
Okay, but
affirm
we're
that
talking
they
about the
can be
difference
anyway.
between gender and sex. We're not talking about specifically that they suddenly change their XY chromosomes to XX or X from
I
XX to
wouldn't. I'm just
XY.
saying. I wouldn't call. It's a harsh term. I wouldn't call it a delusion. They're very well aware that they're not women.
Yeah, I'm already explaining to you that no one is claiming a difference in sex. The sex remains the same no matter what your gender identity is. Let me ask you this. Let's try it this way. What do you do? What do you do to determine that somebody is male or female?
You could pull down their pants.
You pull down
Correct.
their pants. Is that what you do?
You could.
So let me get this straight, right? You're at the nightclub. You're dancing around.
What
And a
do
girl
I do
comes
or
up
what
to
could
you
I
and they're
do?
like, "Can I dance with you?" And then you go, "Hold on. Give me a second." And then you pull down their skirt and then you analyze, you get your microphone, you get your microscope.
Maybe
Right.
I misheard you. Did you
And
say
you
what
look
could
closely.
you do or what do you do?
What do you
You
do
asked
to
me what
determine
could.
somebody is male or
Oh,
female?
okay. I thought you had asked me what could you do.
I'm saying, what do you do?
I mean, politely, I ask them.
You ask them?
I guess. I would have to. I
So
guess.
let me get this straight, right? You're about to open a door and you see somebody coming right behind you. They happen to have you look over at them and then you're like, wait a minute, hold on. I ain't opening no door for no man. But, so I better ask. I better ask first. Excuse me. Stop. Are you male or female, sir and or ma'am? Do you do that?
Well, you definitely said what could you do, and now we're
No,
kind
I'm
of
asking,
switching into
what
like,
do
what do
you
I
do?
do?
It's
I
the
don't real.
same exact question. I haven't changed it.
It's not the same. Well, could we switch it over then to what could you do?
No, I'm asking you,
That is what it was
what
asked.
do you do to determine somebody is male or female?
I mean, I look at them.
Thank you. You look at them.
What's that mean?
Okay, so it's fair to
I
say that
could I be
that
wrong?
you don't do a blood test on them, right? You don't like pull out their blood and then take it to a lab and then determine that they're XX or XY chromosome. You don't do that, right?
Right.
That'd be pretty weird.
Right, but
And then
I'm
the
also
other
not
thing you
Barbara.
probably
I'm
don't
also
do
not.
is you
I'm
definitely
also.
don't pull down their pants, right? Because you'd probably not be talking to me right now. You'd be in jail, right?
Well, you definitely said what could you do, and I said you could pull down their
No,
pants and look.
no.
And now it's
Don't
switching
worry,
to
we're
all
recording
men on
it.
that.
I said, what do you do?
All right.
Anyway, so yeah, you just look at them, right? So let's say, for example, they look female, but they're
Right.
definitely male in terms of sex. What do you
Right.
call this incongruency?
A guy who thinks they're a girl.
Do you think that there is a difference between gender and sex?
I mean, luckily, like whatever I think subjectively of something, it doesn't hold. Right? I'm not the one who maps like the law of identity. I'm not the one who makes these things true. They are what they are, regardless of what I perceive them
No
to
one
be.
is arguing whether or not sex isn't a thing. That's fine. That's over here. I'm simply severing the concept of gender and sex with you.
Yeah, nobody's calling
And
them
and
girls.
you
They're calling them
yourself,
transgender
but hold
girls.
on, but you yourself have acknowledged that under the very basis that you just look at them.
That's how I do it. That's how I do it.
Yeah, that's how everybody does it. So if somebody
Right.
possessed external phenotypic characteristics, even if they had a penis, you would not be able to tell.
What does that matter? If
So
I
as
dress
far
up
as
like a
you're
dog, I'm
concerned,
not a
they're a
dog.
girl. That's basically what it is. If they possess the phenotypes of female, then as far as you're concerned, they're a girl. But their sex doesn't match with what you observe. Do you see what I
If
mean?
I look in the mirror and I see my reflection, that's not a human being in the mirror. That's a reflection. Doesn't matter what I perceive. It's a piece of glass.
Okay, so what's your point?
Yeah,
I don't know
right.
how that
So
was a
whenever
rebuttal. The thing is that you
I
have
dress up
already
like a
acknowledged
dog.
that basically, like without even realizing, you've already acknowledged that trans people exist. They're valid. And the way that you determine somebody
course
by
they
their sex
exist. What does
is
that
going to be
mean?
how they look, which doesn't always map on to the external phenotype as to whether or not they have a vagina or a dick.
That's just what I'm capable. That's just what I'm capable of doing.
I'm
That's not
aware.
what determines
I'm
it.
aware.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's not an argument. That's not what I'm capable of doing. Is not what determines what things are.
No, but that
Yeah, but
is.
yeah.
That is.
What?
So, yes, because what you're looking at there is a difference in how somebody physically looks and their actual sex, right? You didn't go to a and second of all, what if they got what if they got a sex change? Would you say that now they're female?
No, they're still boys.
Okay, okay. So it's not about whether or
You
not that
can't
they
do.
have a vagina or a penis.
Look, there's nothing. There's nothing I can do. Like so, this is a chair, right? Right here. I can break the leg off the chair. Right, it's a
Huh?
chair with no leg. I can smash the chair on the ground to a million pieces. It's a broken chair. It still is a
Really?
chair. Yeah, I can
I
form it
think if
into
I
something
burned a
else.
chair into ashes, I think it would be ashes.
That would be a burnt chair. Yeah,
No, it'd be ashes.
right.
I don't know what. Also, this has absolutely nothing to do with the difference between gender and sex.
Yeah, listen, I'm not saying they don't. I don't know. I don't know what you're arguing. They exist as trans. Like so, we're not. Nobody's calling them girls, are they? They're just saying this is a
What? There's lots of
transgender
people
person.
who are trans that would prefer to be called female pronouns. There's lots of trans
Why?
males
They're
that
not
would prefer
girls.
to be called male pronouns.
They're not boys either.
Yeah,
Why would
but
they?
hold
Why would it?
on. But hold on. By your very
Oh, you said there's,
metric, you have
there's only two
already
genders.
agreed to this position. All you do is look at them.
Are the trans people saying there's only two genders, male and female?
Some are. Depends on who you ask.
Okay.
I mean, I don't
So,
really argue it from a sociological aspect. I argue it from an endocrinological aspect. And so the gender that you have doesn't necessarily always map onto your external phenotype. And so under that basis, that the fact that the hormones can radically change between one individual to the next, it is obvious to me that there is a difference between what they feel in their brain compared to what their chromosomes are or what they have between their legs.
yeah, listen, it's a shame that like society got to a certain point where you can't just have gay guys anymore, right? If they don't feel secure just being like a gay, feminine kind of guy, that's a shame that they have to feel, that somebody forced them into feeling like they have to change into a girl and they can't be accepted as just like a soft guy or, not tough, not super masculine. Those are just attributes of different men and women. And
What are you
I
ashamed
feel
about? What's the shame?
well, if they're showing, I don't remember the word you keep using, effeminate features or
Phenotype?
whatever what did you call them? Phenotypes.
Hmm.
They're showing different phenotypes. Those are just applied by society, like a man with long hair. That's a phenotype. Yeah. So I mean, yeah. I mean, this is not groundbreaking to me, but they're still a boy. They don't have to change all these
You've
things about
already
themselves.
severed the difference between gender and sex, and I think I'm satisfied with that.
I got there's no difference.
Did you want to go
They're gay.
over? No,
Gay.
no.
They're
You've
gay
you've
guys.
already acknowledged that there is a difference. You just don't realize it yet. It's fine. It's okay.
All right.
Now let me ask you this: did you want to go over the mind-body dualism and why that's wrong?
I guess you could share on it. Yeah.